Alright guys, we're going to begin this tier list by talking about the new additions to the tier list, as there have been a few since the initial list that we made back when Omega Shenron dropped. The big ones obviously being that we had the release of Broly, who was a decent impact on the meta. Team with him, Omega Shenron on UG4 was really solid. Then obviously now we are also at the Legends Rising banner with Garlic Jr. and Piccalo also being part of the mix and to be considered for this list. The Gogeta and Vegito from the first part of the anniversary are officially off of boost as of a week or so ago, maybe even 2 weeks ago now at this point, and Gohan is soon to also be off of boost. Other than that, the other change that did happen but doesn't really matter is that Super Saiyan 3 Dragon Fist did get a Zenkai, but his Zenkai is not that great, so we probably will not be making this list. As always, this list will consider everybody at 14 stars, and I will preface by saying I do have personal experience with Garlic Jr. and Broly. However, for Goku Piccalo, a lot of my experience just comes from watching showcases, as we did not pull them. So for their rankings, it's definitely going to be much more debatable, but from what I saw out of them, that's where I'm going to be placing them. As far as the tiering breakdown goes, this is how we're going to be tiering our units, the gods being obviously the best of the best, the greats being some very solid units that just are not good enough to be at the gods, but they're still very good units. Usable being just units that you can use that aren't horrible. Sure being, sure man, like if you want, go for it. And then CCL being like, bro, stop coping. Let's begin the list by obviously getting the easy stuff out of the way. Let's get Ultra Gogeta 4 up there. Get Ultimate Gohan up here, and Super Vegito also still, even off boost, still very, very high up there. Now, initially we did have this as the during boost ranking, but now that Vegito is off boost, obviously that's one thing that's going to matter a lot, is that he's going to be going under Gohan, who is still on boost. The other thing to consider obviously as well is that Vegito still has some very high value of his rush. However, there are new units that have been put out into the game that we will be talking about in a bit. Do a very good job at falling off Vegito and then also being able to just counter his rush, mainly being Omega Shenron and also the new Garlic Jr. Due to those factors, I do think that we are going to be moving Mr. Vegito down, and we're going to have Gohan above him, and this is going to be the top 3, and that is going to be all the units in the God territory. Moving on to the Greats territory, this is just the units. This is not currently organized. We are going to go ahead and organize it and explain each placement as we go through this. Now, I do think that Gogeta Blue, who is now off boost, I do think before that he was like in the realm with these guys, but now that he's off boost, it's not as much the fact that he went off boost that I think made me lower him. It's more so the release of this guy, who kind of just made using him very much so a hassle, which now also we see a lot of CMZ, so now it's a double threat for him. And even with Garlic Jr. coming out, Garlic Jr. just has neutral, so Gogeta can't really do much there. He always feels like the sack off on the team because you want to try to use him for the rush, and this guy you're just never sacking off. There's just a lot of different factors like that, and then obviously this guy really does just shoe in over him on fusions right now, and it's not a lot of things going for Gogeta. So at the very minimum, I do think he is worse than these two current units. And then when we get into the discussion of these units here, I do think you can even make the argument for him being worse than both of these guys, to be real. But I think all 3 of these guys are pretty close to each other. If I had to place it in an order I would see fit, I would probably do this. I do think CMZ is still very good, but CMZ feels like the easiest one to deal with in this row. But that's not to say CMZ is bad, obviously. He's in the greats tier. He's still very, very good. And that's where I would have CMZ, Kid Buu, and Gogeta Blue. And Omega and Broly, I'm honestly not sure about which one I prefer more. Out of bias, I would honestly probably say Broly, but if we're being objective about this, I do think that Omega just provides a lot more value, and he really just holds down that spot right there for him being able to counter this guy, him being able to counter this guy, him being able to counter, like he's just a very good defensive counter, and he's one of the best defensive units in the game. And the team that we cooked up with Omega, Broly, and UG4, man, that team is just an absolute menace to deal with, bro. It is so annoying to deal with that team. You have so much security on there, so much damage, so much snipe potential. This overall very toxic flow of the team. And I feel like even post the Garlic Jr. Piccalo release, that team still holds up very well. And because of that team mainly is why I think Broly is still this high up, even considering how bad his defenses are. I feel like the offensive value he provides when he's working with Ultra Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta and the coverage that he gets from Omega Shenron overall puts him very high on my list, and I think he's a very valuable unit, even though it does seem to be that the community does not agree with that because of his ability to get one shot. That is going to be it for the usable tier that we're going to talk about here. So the main things with this one obviously is Ultra Broly did get a plat, and that did bring up, I feel, a lot of controversy between these two units. I think that his comeback mechanic is still very valuable, but his plat just made him such a demon, man. I think as a unit, he is just much more valuable than Golden Frieza right now, but it's just the simple fact that comeback is a very powerful tool to have, and that's why I think these two kind of just go hand in hand together for now. But the moment the teams that these two are run on, because they're both run on pretty much the same teams, the moment that these teams that they're run on get another unit that can provide rush security, Golden Frieza is immediately gone and Broly is just running through the streets, man. This guy is so freaking amazing with this plat. The only reason I don't have him even like possibly up here is because of how his current team standing and how he just currently flows with the rush security. Rush security, I feel like, is a very big part of the current meta because of this guy. This guy makes a very big difference with rush security, and also because Gogeta 4's ultimate being a stupid menace that it is, you really do need to have some sort of rush security, because otherwise these two together, just 2 units of your team are just gone, man. So I do feel like rush security, or even just like revive, comeback, indestructible, that stuff is very valuable. And that's why I do think that you could even make the argument for this still now. But I think very, very soon, possibly with the next Ultra, Broly is going to skyrocket, maybe in the top 5. I don't see how that would not happen. As far as with these guys go here, I definitely think that Baby is the worst in this tier. Baby is still very good, but I feel like these two just provide a completely different tier. Garlic Jr. is a phenomenal tank. Garlic Jr. is one of the best tanks that Legends has seen in a very, very long time. He's very, very good. Couple team issues, couple equip issues, but none to really stop him from being an absolute demon in the current battlefield. And for a Mega Rising banner, this guy really does put in the work, man. I do personally currently prefer Garlic Jr. over the Goku Piccalo from what I've seen out of them. Goku Piccalo feel much more tame compared to Garlic Jr. and I do think that as good as they are, I feel like Garlic Jr. has a lot better utility and a lot better uses and a lot better flowing in the current meta and the current teams. But Goku Piccalo obviously have the advantage of being a Goku unit, and they have a lot better equips and a lot better options because of that. So you genuinely can, I think, make an argument for either or right now. I personally think that Garlic Jr. is better currently, but that could very easily change with a couple of upcoming releases as well. Moving on to the short tier, this is where we have these units. I'm gonna just make a slight change right now. I'm gonna go ahead and move Buga up to usable. He is still absolutely up there. I don't know why I completely forgot about him for a second there, but Buga is still absolutely phenomenal. Majin Buu Saga is still a great team. So we're just gonna go ahead and move Buga up there, and this is gonna be the short tier. This is just units that you can. They're bordering on usable, obviously. Like there's none of these units that you can't use. The Videl showcase, if you guys saw that, Videl support with Gogeta Blue and Gohans and all the Gohans in the game does very well. And Videl herself actually does some pretty good damage as well. Beerus is also still pretty good with Omega Shenron running around. You can do some pretty good combos with that. Shin does provide some good support, and he's very annoying. This guy has a decent revive, and this guy has good support and revive. You have a lot of options with these guys. This guy's damage can still absolutely run through teams. He also does some pretty good damage. Still, defense could be a lot better. But that's kind of where we're looking at for the short tier of units. And in terms of the organization of this here, I do think that 17 is the best unit here, followed by Piccalo. Honestly, I do think that Beerus is better than Nappa Vegeta currently, but they're both very mediocre at best. Videl, just a support unit, man. She's pretty decent though, but I don't know. She just doesn't feel very great. And Beast Gohan's, honestly, at times Beast Gohan can look like this, but I think we're going to have him here. I think that's where he performs most of the time for me. But honestly, the value between him and him are very interchangeable. And that's pretty much going to be the short tier of units here. Now, if you're running these next few units, Seek Help, man. Great Shenron. I'm putting him in Seek Help because I don't want to see him. He's very annoying to fight. He is pretty good, honestly. He is probably like the unusable to shirt tier, but I just don't want to see him. So stop using him. Seek Help. If you're still coping Spirit Bomb Goku, I don't know what to say, man. He's well past his prime. He was not as good as 17, but if you want, man, you can make him work. I guess. Good luck. Seek Help. Let Brother Bear rest, bro. He's done. He's done. It's over for the guy. His legacy's over. Just let him rest, man. Put him in the grave. Another unit that we're going to follow up here, we're going to put them into the shirt here, is Bardku. Bardku can still put up some absolute demonic work, and their indestructible is also very valuable in the current meta. We did do a showcase of them pretty recently, and they are still phenomenal. Ultra Kaioken, also another unit that did get a plat. Not as good as Broly, but he is still somebody you can decide to, if you want, use. But he's not too phenomenal, mainly because of his teams. But if he had better teams, I could definitely see him jump up into the unusable tier. Jump up into the usable tier, not unusable. Now let's talk about this Mr. Zenkai over here. Seek help, man. He's pretty bad. I don't know what to tell you. He tries to do his job or something, but every single time I've tried using this guy, bro, he just does not impress me. I feel like I have to suck his glizzy to make him actually do something. Like I don't like units that need to be artificially boosted to hell to actually look like comparable units. When I was running this guy without support, just good teams, good equips, good bench, he just felt like a bottom 50 unit, man. Like he just wasn't cooking. His ult does some decent damage. That's really about it. His base card damage made me want to cry and rip my eyeballs out. Just please seek help, man, if you try to make this unit good. And to finish up the list, we're just going to put Omega in the shirt tier. You can decide to make him work. He takes some decent damage. He does some good damage. Has some okay utility. Nothing crazy. But he's a unit that can work. This is what I think is the current meta list for Dragon Ball Legends. Definitely could be a couple changes that can be made here. Let me know your guys' thoughts down in the comment below. And with that being said, this is your boy Aizen, signing out.